Good day or evening, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about glosses and how they pertain to the grammatical deception that has been done in you accepting a name that's not you, and it has nothing to do with you. This is how the entire legal system works, in my opinion, of course. Although it is backed up by very, very direct evidence, but this is just my opinion, of course. As I explained before in the last video, there is a very major difference in Latin, Dog Latin, and English. The Latin name uses interpuncts or hyphens in order to connect or string the word together, or the name in this case. Dog Latin does not do this. As you know, your driver's licenses, passports, any type of legal document is written in this type of hieroglyphic text. This is a dead hieroglyphic text. It equals the same thing as Egyptian hieroglyphic text. That's how you can read this or interpret it. That's more proper word to use. Interpret this. The English name, or in this case, in Bulgarian, it's the same thing. It could be Cyrillic, is written out with grammatical structure, capital letter, small letter. Your Christian name, which is actually your proper name, the name that is not attached to a tribe or clan, your last name, your surname, is your first and middle name. This is where you become a creditor in the system. You are born here, but you are tricked into going here because of your lack of understanding of basic grammar. Now, I'm going to try to keep this short. How to structure sentences in American Sign Language. As I described before in the last video, glosses in ASL this is in the Chicago Styles Manual. Glosses in ASL are the written language transcription of a sign, which is called a gloss. Down here. Glosses from the spoken written language to represent signs is that there is no one-to-one correspondence between the words or signs in any two languages. This is telling you that these are two different languages: English and American Sign Language, which is gloss. Well, it's actually American Sign Language, but it uses gloss in order to make the words. Let's go deeper into this. How to structure sentences in American Sign Language. In American Sign Language, ASL, you can choose to assemble words in your sentence in different orders, depending on the content of your dialogue. Okay, so English. He sells. He, capital H-E, sells. Written correctly. He sells. This is grammatically correct. You can read this. A person or a man or woman with consciousness can read this. The sign of he sells, spelled out like your name on your passports and every other type of document that you may hold. This does not have a grammatical structure. It does not have a grammatical structure. And if it does not have a grammatical structure, you cannot read it. Let's keep going down. Now if you imagine this as being this, everything starts to make sense. He sells food. This is understandable. You can read this. It has grammatical structure that you can break down. He sells food in sign language because this is technically the language of Babylon, the underworld, because you don't know how to speak, or you know how to speak, but you don't know how to read. You don't know how to read the signs in order to understand that this is a sign and not English or Cyrillic Bulgarian. The rules are the same. Now, let's keep going. If we go to the ASL University, American Sign Language University, and we look at glosses, we can read, glossing is what you call it when you write one language in another. The written information is known as a gloss. Okay. When we see someone signing, and this also means signing, like you sign your name, you sign your name on the X. You sign your name on the X. Death, mystery, unknown. Okay? When you see someone signing, and we write it down or type it out, sign for sign, include various notations to account the facial and body grammar that goes with the sign. We are glossing ASL. This means that if you go into a contract with these corporations by consent, which means that you are consenting, you are willingly consenting, by the sheer fact that you accept this unreadable name, this is what they're talking about. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. This is a very important section because it tells you directly. The gloss label of an ASL sign, American Sign Language sign, doesn't equal English. For example, the sign glossed as fine doesn't mean all the things that the English word fine means. It wouldn't use the sign fine to sign. I wouldn't use the sign fine to sign. What this is saying is that it has one meaning, but it's actually another meaning, the all uppercase text, the hieroglyphic text, because it can be interpreted. It is a presumption. I want to go back and specifically talk about this in that context. Goat. A structure for draining water out of the land and into the sea. How can goat, which is an animal, and I showed you what it means last time, it's a satanic goat. This is how they're getting you to get out of the land jurisdiction and into the maritime jurisdiction. This was created by Justinian, and the gloss system was perfected by this guy named Accursius. We'll keep going and we'll talk about that. I suggest everyone go and read this. This is on the American Sign Language website. American Sign Language is not English on the hands. Well, it's not English at all if you actually read it. It is a common misconception in North American hearing communities that American Sign Language is derivative of English, and therefore not a language by itself. However, the truth is that American Sign Language, commonly abbreviated as ASL, originated independently of the English linguistic influence, and is in fact its own language with its own set of rules. Okay? They're talking about this. This is the system of Babylon. This is an ancient system. And it's been going on since probably before Roman times, honestly, but you can trace it back to Rome. Rome is still in control, everyone. They've always been in control. Rome never fell. It just changed its name, and it changed its calling signs. Let's put it like that. Okay, so we'll keep going. Now, if we take this context of what glossing means, and we apply it to the identity cards, or any type of passport, or any type of banking statement, anything legal, any legal type of name, anything legal in terms of jurisdictions as well, all the corporate courts, because they are corporate. If you go and read the countries and the corporations, see, it doesn't matter which language it's in, whether it's in Cyrillic or in English, apparent English. This is sign as well. Your name is signed. You are signing. This is signing. You are accepting something, and the only way you can communicate is with your hands or possibly speaking. But they don't understand that because they're corporations. They're dead, remember? Corporation is corpus in Latin. It means body, or specifically a dead body. I think I opened the definition. Where was it? Administration. Okay. Corpus. Okay. The body of a human or animal, especially when dead. Corpus juris. That's the system that Justinian created. That is maritime law. You're dead. That's what they're talking about, guys. I'm laughing because it's comical that no one has figured this out. It's sad. We're gonna go back to this. Glossa veprina esque cordit viscera textus. It is a poisonous gloss which corrupts the essence of the text. Well, yeah, of course it corrupts the essence of the text. You can't read the text because it's not text. It's this. It's hieroglyphs. You can interpret this any way you want to. And that's what they're doing. You enter into the world of presumption. You presume the laws to be what they are. They presume you to be dead because you can't read. It's like, if you're dead, how can you read something? You can't. They presume you to be dead because you're saying you can read this. You go into this absurd state of thinking that you can read, but you can't. And they place whatever, any type of taxes, jurisdictions, fines, whatever they want on you, pretty much. And that's how they've been controlling the planet for so long. I'll specifically talk about the trust that they've created in order to steal all this money, all this mineral and energy wealth. Okay, so let's look at the definition of a gloss. A brief explanation as in the margin or between the lines of a text. Glosses are usually used in the marginal sides of the text. It's not in the central body of the text, it is in the sides or in between the text of a difficult or obscure word of expression or expression. A false or often willfully misleading interpretation as of the text. They directly tell you what this is and what they've done, but unfortunately you're a dummy and you can't understand what's going on. Okay, I think that's good for that. Let's keep going. Biblical glosses. Because this is a biblical contract, you are in a contract with the Vatican, unfortunately, and they are the serpent. They've usurped your money, your mineral and energy wealth. You are the gold. You, as the physical living man or woman, are the gold. That's what they're after. A gloss or glossa is an annotation written on the margins or within the text of biblical manuscripts or printed editions of the scriptures. You can keep reading the rest if you'd like, but I want to point out a very specific part of this. The English word gloss is derived from the Latin glossa, a transcript of the Greek glossa. In classical Greek, it means a tongue or language. A tongue or language, a pagan, a pay again. You have to pay again. Or you can't. You also can only use language. You cannot read. You just speak or use hand signs or some kind of sign to show them that you are in fact agreeing to this dead system. Okay, so this lovely man was the guy who actually made the glossa ordinara. He created a gloss system. The initial corpus juris system that we're under is a creation of the Byzantine Emperor Justinian. Later on, they created this gloss system that perfected the system that we're in now. I would do a lot of research on this guy because I can talk for ages about him. But we'll leave it at that. It's good to know him. Accursius. There's his name. Okay. Maritime law. This is what you're in. It is a body of legal rules, and that's Justinian. He's Macedonian, by the way, or Bulgarian, if we look at it actually realistically, because everything is Bulgaria and always has been. They just lie about everything. No surprise. Very interesting thing that I want to point out here is, where was it? Okay. So, this was an interesting quote that I wanted to show. I am indeed Lord of the land, or Lord of the world. I'm going to read that again. I am indeed Lord of the world, but the law is the Lord of the sea. Yeah, the law is the Lord of the sea because you're in maritime jurisdiction. That's what's going on. Okay, I'm going to end this video now. You can continue on to the next one where I'll keep going with all of these right here. They do connect to this, but I want to keep this in parts so everyone can completely understand, and in small 10 to 15 minute videos kind of metabolize the information, because it is a massive deception what they've done. I suggest going and looking up the Justinian deception. This guy Romley Stewart, he explains all this very well. I learned a lot of the stuff that I know from him, but there's a lot of other stuff that came up afterwards. Thank you, and we can continue on to the next video.